Hello and welcome to Czapek. This time we have moved our Czapek studio inside our manufacturer. Here is the atelier, and you can hear the watchmakers working and prepare the stem. This is where everything gets prepared. This is where every watch is born. And look at what I have to introduce to you. 6 beautiful pieces that are going to be unveiled in Watches and Wonder. And the first one is not the least, because it's a model we've been dreaming of making since the beginning, since the old time of the Antarctic Terra Deli. And we wanted to take a different route from the one that we had taken when we did the Terra Deli first and then the Passage de Drake. And here in that case, it's playing with the idea that without silence, there is no music. Without void, there is no shape. And here, the void is creating the marker. And the distance between each marker, each void, is made by a sector. So this watch has been called dark sector. It's the Czapek titanium dark sector. Now the name itself reminds of the Antarctic. Why? Because there is an incredible telescope on the Antarctic that is called dark sector. And why? Because the sky of the Antarctic is the clearest and the darkest. So hence we also underline that effect with this dark gray dial, taking from the anthracite tone and playing with it. It's a very sleek, minimalist design that plays with the effect created by these sectors, which are all diamond cut. It's really a work of art in terms of machining, because it's a dial made in one piece with 4 different levels. So when you do the milling of it, then you have to prepare every element and go to the depth that you want to do. Then you color, and once you color, you finish. And that makes the part that are in gray shine, and the dark gray becoming in the background the dark effect. So the next one is an Antarctic S. It's a 38.5mm case version of the Antarctic. And here, the model name is La Carte des Nuages. La Carte des Nuages is a joke. You know, it's usually a joke that scouts play on younger scouts when they join the place and they become scouts, and they are asked to find some tartan paint and to find the cloud map. And La Carte des Nuages is literally translated by the cloud map. Of course, it does not exist. But here, why did we choose that name? It's simply because the person behind the brief of that watch, which wasn't me for once, has decided to play with guilloché and white perlé mother of pearl. And I insist on that because you can never do guilloché on white perlé mother of pearl, because this part, which is the inner part of the shell, there is only one dial that you can make in each shell of white perlé. The other dials are made in the periphery. So this part is the most fragile one, and it's the most lively one. It's the most precious one. Because it's so fragile, you cannot do guilloché. But if you select to do only 6 cuts of guilloché, 3 vertical and 3 horizontal, then in that case it becomes possible. And then the rest belongs to playing with diamonds, with an invention that was quite unique, which is we decided to have our own diamond cut. You know, you can have princess cut, which are the square that you see around. You can have baguette cut, you can have the round cut, the brillant. And here you now have the Antarctic cut, which is exactly the replica of the metal index. So when you compare a metal index and the Antarctic cut in diamond, you see how much they are brother and sister. And so you have this element of decoration that creates a unique effect that is visible and discreet at the same time. Then the case itself is also pavé with diamonds and has a crown with a single diamond of nearly 1 carat. So it's an overall effect that is incredible, and if you want to play less diamond, then you can have a case without any diamonds. There is a version of that watch that is going to be very special. It's in gray, And this is really a way also to approach classical material like mother of pearl, giving it a pop. And I find that while the white may be more feminine, the gray is more masculine. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe we will see that it's the opposite that happens. Whenever it happens, we don't design a watch for a man or for a woman. We try to design a beautiful watch, and then we let everyone decide. And that makes a transition to the third model in 2 colors. And again, it's an Antarctic S. It's coming from a specific inspiration, an oriental inspiration, coming from Japan. It's an embroidery that is made using a pattern. Usually, it's a natural resource that is used as an inspiration for the pattern. And in our case, it's a lotus flower. And the name of that technique is sashiko, and obviously it became the name of the model. So I let you discover this light blue, very fascinating, but probably the star of this new model is a pink, inspired by the pink lotus, with all the elements regarding eternity and energy in life that are so important to me, to us, to the way we work, and with a tone that we have wanted to be a masculine pink. You know, pink is sometimes illogically associated to gender. We wanted to make a pink that every man can wear. And this is the case with the Sashiko Pink Lotus. And the last piece is the star of the show. And in fact, it comes from you. Because many of you came to me, came to us, when we launched the Antarctic and said, wow, this movement is incredible. Oh, can't you put it the other way around, like on the dial, so that I can enjoy looking at it all the time? And of course, doing that is not as simple as just turning a movement upside down, because you actually have to reconceive all the minutary, all the minute wheels to distribute hours and minutes so that they come out on the right side. So we started working on that about 2 years ago, and we basically failed on the first intent. And it's not normal. It's very difficult to achieve to do something that is technically exciting and beautifully inspiring at the same time. So we've gone into a lot of difficulties, as you can imagine. The balance wheel has been turned upside down, so that you don't see the back of the balance wheel when you look through the dial. The other elements have been kept like they were. So you see the bridges in the inside, and the main plate has been cut just finely to follow the shape of the different bridges. It's a very strange visual effect, with a sapphire ring that holds the indexes, a bit like the osmium piece that we presented last year, the frozen star. So we took actually that technique to put it on a sapphire glass and create a three-dimensional effect where you dive into the SXH5. So this is probably the most intriguing piece. It's also a pleasure of a teamwork, because when we failed on the first intent of doing the skeleton, I decided to do an open work. And we resolved some of the problem with the open work. But then the team came back to me and said, no, Xavier, let's do a skeleton as we wanted to do at the beginning. And we found by this iterative process the solution, which is révélation, in English, revelation, our first skeleton piece. So here are the novelties for Watches and Wonder 2023. Big changes here. You can come on Saturday and Sunday, and I'm eager to show you myself all these pieces and enjoy a good watchmaking time together.